So what we've done so far is created a 1-bar pattern. And as we know, 1 bar consists of 16 steps. Now, if we want to make a pattern that's longer than just 1 bar or 16 steps, we can go to the pattern section of Circuit, which we can get to by hitting the Patterns button here beneath Shift. So I'll press this, and once I do, the layout of the pads changes, and we can see there's 4 different colors, and these different colors represent different patterns for the different parts. Synth part 1 is purple, so the patterns for synth part 1 are purple. Synth part 2 is green, so the patterns for synth part 2 are green. And as we now know, the drum parts are linked. So drum parts 1 and 2, the patterns for those are this orange color. Drum parts 3 and 4, the patterns for those are this kind of weird neon green color. And we have 8 different patterns. Each pattern consists of a 1 bar or 16 step length. Now we can chain these patterns together, or we can treat them as individual patterns and switch between them as we wish. So let me play my beat. So we can see the pattern that's flashing right now. That's showing us the currently selected pattern, the one that's currently playing. So for drum parts 1 and 2, my kick and snare, if I go to the second pattern here by pressing that button, we can see now the second pattern is playing because that's flashing. We don't hear anything because there's nothing in the second pattern. So we go to drum parts 1 and 2 here. All right, I can see the white pad showing me where I'm at in my sequence. So maybe I'll add a slightly different pattern here. All right, so I got that as my second pattern. Let's go back to the pattern section here, and I'll switch between pattern 2 and pattern 1. All right, so we can see we can switch like that, and it waits until the beginning of the bar to switch so you don't suddenly jump off beat. Now let's say I want this to be a 2-bar pattern. I want them to alternate instead of like manually hitting them like this. What you can do is you can simply tie them together by holding down the first pattern in the chain, which will be this one. As I'm holding this, I'm going to press the second pattern in the chain, which is that one. And now they're going to alternate. We can see both of these are lit up, so we know that these are the 2 patterns that are alternating. Now let's take it just a little bit further. Maybe I want a 4-bar pattern, and maybe I want to make it so that pattern 2 and pattern 3 have the same pattern going on, and then pattern 4 is a bit different. The way these are numbered is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I want a 4-bar pattern, I have to chain 1, 2, 3, and 4 together. So what I'll do is I'll hold down the first pattern, and then I'll hold down the 4th one. So I'm going to cycle between these 4, but I have 2 blank patterns here. As I said, I'd like to be able to duplicate the second pattern to the third pattern, and then in the 4th one, I'll just create a different beat. I'll just program a different rhythm. So if I'm going to duplicate pattern 2 to pattern 3, I can hold duplicate, press pattern 2, that's green. So where do I want to duplicate it to? To pattern 3. So I'll press right there. So now pattern 3 is the same as pattern 2. So now let me go and select pattern 4. So now just pattern 4 is selected, and I want to program something different in here. All right, so that'll be the 4th pattern. Let me go back into my patterns here. I'm going to chain all 4 of these together, hold my first pattern, and then press the last one in the chain. So now we have our 4-bar pattern with our kick and our snare.